Hey guys, Professor Schupak here, back today with another video for you all. In this video, we're going to talk about present value factor of money as well as annuity present value. Let's get started. So what is present value factor? That is a factor which is used to indicate the present value of cash to be received in the future. An annuity present value is the current value of future payments from an annuity given a specific rate of return or discounted rate. So I'll start by giving you guys the formula. So the present value factor is equal to 1 over 1 plus r raised to the t. And annuity present value is equal to c, which is the amount we're going with, times 1 minus present value factor over r. These still look a little complicated, so I'm going to give you two real-world examples that you might run into or have seen others run into to help better explain why these are important and what kind of problems we could actually solve with them. Let's get started. The first problem, after budgeting, you realize you can only afford monthly payments of $632 for a sports car. You call your bank to find out that the going rate of a loan is 1% per month for 48 months. How much money can you afford to borrow? So we can only pay $632 per month, and we want to take out as much money as we can because we would love to have our dream car, but we have 48 months to pay it back, and this rate is going up 1% per month. So we need to make sure we don't over borrow because then we won't be able to pay it back. And if we're going for something that we love, like our dream car, and we borrow a certain amount and we can borrow more, why not? Because it'll help us finance the car. How do we solve this problem? Well, remember, annuity present value is equal to 1 minus the present value factor over r. In this case, our present value factor is 1 over 1 plus r to the t, and we know that r is 1%, so 1 plus r, 1 plus 0.01 is 1.01, and t, 48, well, we have to pay it back in 48 months, so we know that t is 48, so we can simplify 1 minus present value factor over r to this. If we continue simplifying this, we're going to get that the 1 over 1.01 to the 48 is 0.6203. So 1 minus that divided by this 0.1 is 37.974. And that's our annuity present value. So what can we do with this? Well, if you have the annuity present value, in this case, we could solve how much money we could borrow. So we want to figure out the present value of the 48 payments because we have 48 months and we're paying per month. Well, we can only pay $632 per month. We multiply that by our annuity present value, which we calculated to be 37.974, and we get $24,000. That means in this case, we can borrow up to $24,000 from the bank, given this 1% per month loan that we have to pay back in 48 months. So we have $24,000 covered that we can borrow from this bank to get our Bugatti or whatever car it is or whatever we're financing. That's one example of annuity present value. There are other examples that get a little more complicated. Let me show you. Say you went on a spring break trip and you put $1,000 on your credit card, but you can only afford to pay $20 per month, and the interest rate on the credit card is 1.5% per month. How long will you need to pay off the $1,000? So we have $1,000 that we owe, and we can only pay back $20 of it. And each month, whatever we owe is increasing by 1.5%. How do we figure this out? Well, let's remember that present value factor is 1 over 1 plus r to the t, and move forward from there. So we have this $1,000, which is what we owe, and that's going to be equal to the $20 that we're paying times our annuity factor. They have to be that, which is 1 minus present value factor over 0.015. So we solve from here. So we'll start by dividing out the 20 on both sides, and then we're going to multiply out this 0.015. So we multiply out 20, divide out the 20, and then we clear that to get 1 minus present value factor alone. Now we solve this formula, we're going to get 0.75 equals 1 minus present value factor, which means if we solve this, we figure out that the present value factor is equal to 0.25. Referring back to the present value factor formula, this 0.25 is equal to 1 over 1 plus r to the t. And if we solve from there, we get the 1 divided by the 0.25 is 1 plus r to the t, which is 4. So we know what that means is that the value that was started with, which we don't know, ended up being 4 times the ending value. And as you recall in the previous video on present and future values, we know how to solve problems where a starting amount was x that was uncertain, and an ending amount was also uncertain, but a multiple of x. So in this case, we have a starting value of x and an ending value of 4x. So how do we solve that? As you recall, x times 1 plus r to the t was equal to 4x. We started by isolating the x by dividing out on both sides. We get 1 plus r to the t equals 4. Then we take the logarithm of this because we need to bring the t down. We get t times the logarithm of 1 plus r equals ln of 4. Now all we have to do to isolate t is divide this out on both sides. So we're going to get t equals ln over 4, ln of 4 divided by ln of 1 plus r, which in our case r is 1.5%, so that would be 0.015. So t equals ln of 4 divided by 1.05, which is 93 months. And if we wanted to convert that to years, well, we take the months divided by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. We get 7.75 years. So it would take us 7.75 years to pay back a $1,000 debt on a credit card if we can only afford to pay $20 per month and the increase rate is 1.5% per month. That is an example of how we use present value factor to figure out how long it would take us to pay off a credit card debt. And we also use annuity present value to figure out how much we could afford to borrow from a bank. These are two very important applications to understand for both personal finance and big finance, and I hope these two examples better helped explain these two concepts and show you how important these things are to know and to use in everyday life. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.